Welcome to the new era of Wealth Building Podcast, formerly the MLMsuccess.com podcast. This show will reveal a new era of team building that has been created by smart contracts on the blockchain and technology that wasn't even available a couple of years ago, and most still don't know exist or understand today. We share with you real success stories from real people that are happening right now today. While traditional network marketing companies have fallen into a state of dissipation and delusion, what Mr. Calvert calls a social club, there is one company and organization whose members are progressing and growing their incomes weekly. This organization is led by the host of this podcast, Dale Calvert. Dale has always said that real product in network marketing is people. Dale has always taught, if you build people, people will build the business. We believe network marketing is the #1 personal development program on the planet, with a compensation plan attached. When you combine wisdom of the ages success principles, proven personal development systems, and a new era opportunity, you have the formula for life-altering success stories. And that is what we share with you in this podcast. So here is your host, who has a goal to develop 500 six-figure earners and 10 millionaires on his team over the next few years. A small-town guy that figured out early in his career that the real product in network marketing is people. And the magic in Zig's quote, "You can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want." Dale Calvert.
I am beyond excited for you guys to hear the success story of Vicki Karshner. Success leaves clues. There's a path that you must follow in any entrepreneurial journey in order to reach your full upside potential. I listen to probably 3 to 5 different niche, business-oriented, opportunity-type websites in multiple different niches within the entrepreneurial world every single week. And at the end, they always go to questions, and people start asking these questions. And I can't listen to it very long because in my mind, I'm listening, and I know the person asking the question, there's no way they have the ability with the mindset that they're in to take the information they've just learned, put it into action, and achieve success. There's opportunity everywhere. But if you don't have a success mindset, if you don't have the proper mindset, if you're somebody that's constantly seeing the glass half empty and you don't have the confidence in yourself and your ability to learn, in 20 hours of focused time, you can learn almost any niche, any business niche. 20 hours of focused time, you'll know more about that niche than 97% of the people trying to participate in it. And there's just certain rules, wisdom of the ages, success principles. If you implement them, you will fulfill your true upside potential. Vicki Karshner is a perfect example of this. Listen to this. She leaves a lot of great nuggets, wisdom of the ages insights, if you'll just look a little bit behind the curtain and follow her path and what she's done. Listen to what she says. She referenced the whirlpool, that whole concept of the whirlpool. She references that multiple times in this. Listen to what she said about the book club and what those books did for her as far as reprogramming her mind and starting to understand, as most of us are who we are because of wherever we were when we were 12 years old, and how we can reprogram our mind for success. You have to get with the right team culture that works as much upon your mindset as the business vehicle you're involved with. Everybody's looking for the right funnel and the foo-foo dust and this funnel and that funnel and this way to create leads and that way to create. They're looking at all these systems out here. But if you ignore the personal development aspect of becoming an entrepreneur, you'll never get where you want to go. Vicki's a great example, I'm proud that she's part of our team, and just excited for what she and so many people on our team are achieving. 2023 is going to be a phenomenal year for her, and she deserves it because she's taken the time to work harder on herself than she has on the business. And that's a secret, guys. Get with the right team, the right culture, and focus on becoming the very best you can be. Start understanding that most people let their emotions yank them around all day, every day, and they don't get anything done because they're constantly looking for that magic foo-foo dust, and it doesn't exist. There's reasons people fail. There's reasons people succeed. And Vicki Karshner will give you a great example of how and why people succeed. You're gonna enjoy this one. I'll be back with you when Vicki's done, but enjoy this interview and listen closely. We come into this, the number one opportunity in the history of the world. And we either have the skill sets, the mindsets, the work ethic, the time management to be able to prosper in this and with this opportunity, or we don't. And yes, we have time to get our self-talk right and get through more numbers. And we have time to develop the areas that we need to develop so we can get through the people, have the communication that we need to have, and improve. But we're all holding a stick of dynamite and the fuse is lit on this. We can all get better. I mean, it's just like, and I've said this, the 10th person you talk to is not even going to be close to the first person that you talk to. And by the time you've done 100 or whatever, it just gets easier. It's like anything else in life. But the key is to develop the mindsets and get them internalized to the point that they will be with you the rest of your life. I mean, that's really the number one benefit of this type of business is, Zig said for years, well, everybody's waiting for somebody to come along and fire them up. Well, what if they don't show up? You got to know how to fire yourself up. You got to know how to get yourself focused, get your mind right. All this is on you. And the reality, this is a book I read in the early 80s. It came from a book I read in the early 80s. I've talked about it dozens of times over the years. It's called Chicken to an Eagle. But you can see this play out in every opportunity that's ever been. And when you have an opportunity like this, I didn't do the numbers, but the young man that did this first deal this week, 150 W-2s, that's the potential to be over 50,000 in commissions to him. Over 50,000. That doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. We've never seen anything like this, these type of commissions. So if you're going to develop some new skill sets and mindsets and attitudes, it's a whole lot easier when you're that close to a win every day. I hope this makes sense. But see, and I'm just going to go through this real quick, because I could spend. I've done webinars on this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. But I needed to mention it tonight. All of us come into this opportunity, and we start life, and we have these program perceptions about life and relationships and what our potential is, what our potential isn't, based upon our parents, society, and authority figures, based upon where we were raised, how we were raised. By the time we're 12 years old, most of us have somewhat of a vision of what the rest of our life is going to look like. Most people do. I look at the whole world like they're 12 years old because it just helps me understand everything much better. And then what happens is we get stuck, and it's like usually around age 25 or 30, and you're thinking, my gosh, I'm going to get up every day, go to a job I don't really like, hang around people I don't really like, and hope to get a cost of living raise every year for the rest of my life. Is this really the way that my life's going to turn out? And then whatever happens, we make the decision to see things differently. The greatest opportunity in the history of the world drops in our lap. And then what happens is we start questioning our program perceptions. We start hearing people like
Alan and Kamala and Shelley and Dave Trilogy and Tony Shoup and so many of these people that you all heard. And we start questioning our program perceptions about, well, maybe I could do something better. And then we have to get through this whirlpool. And we have times when we're in a rhythm, we're on a roll, things are moving forward. We have moments of feeling free from our original false perceptions that were developed back here when we were kids, and we break through this whirlpool. The problem is, if we hang out here, this whirlpool is like a vacuum that's trying to pull you back to where you're comfortable, which is back here. You're back here. This is the way you've lived most of your life. This is where you're comfortable. You're not comfortable out here. But if you can persist and don't let this whirlpool pull you back, and again, I've watched over my life people go from here to here, from here to here, from here. The whirlpool keeps sucking them back because you get out here and you start reading your own clippings and you think, oh, I made it. I get it. I understand personal performance 1,000 times better than my relatives or my neighbors or anybody else. I've read Think and Grow Rich. And we get a little, and it's not really a big head because it's true. You do have a distinct advantage, but all of a sudden now you're not doing your morning routine. Now you're not monitoring your self-talk. You're letting, you turn on Alan Jackson instead of Jim Rohn when you're driving. And if you do that too long, this whirlpool will suck you way back here. And some of you have experienced that listening tonight. My goal is to help you get way out here, way away. This whirlpool, you can't even feel it, where you have a freedom to hear your own inner creativity and change and really reprogram your mind for success and change your original perceptions. I mean, I was talking to Carlos earlier today, and the Carlos I met a couple years ago and the Carlos today is two different young men. He's still young, but his understanding, his awareness in the last couple of years has just exploded. And he's doing phenomenal. So again, guys, you get out here and then what happens is you determine your new programming for the rest of your life because you can determine who you listen to, who you don't listen to. Is this moving my life and myself and my everything about my life and those 7 key areas of life forward, or is it not? And it just makes a huge impact. I promise you, there's a path, there's a road. If you follow the road, plug in the path, you're going to get there. Our special guest tonight is Vicki Karsher. This is her Facebook page. Success leaves clues. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Jim Rohn. Gosh, I have seen her. It's just, honestly, in my mind, from my perspective, just an amazing transformation for her, really. It has been. She has broken out. There's no question about it. She's hit the leaderboard multiple times since with ERC. She's just gotten to a whole different level. And she's been involved in direct sales for over 30 years. She started with Mary Kay. She was with Xango for several years. I met Vicki, knew of Vicki about May of 2018. I went back and looked. That's when she popped up for the first time on one of our autoresponder lists. And, over the past 90 days since joining ERC, she's booked, and this was the time I got the data from her, it might have changed, but she'd booked 24 calls that represented 1,182 W-2s and $11,900,000 in potential funds for her clients and $404,000 in commissions for herself in the last 90 days since she started. She is one of the top 5 on our team for signed contracts. And I believe that is because she's just relentless at follow-up. very value focused follow up. Her first client has already been sent to the IRS and will pay her a commission in her back office. It's there of $36,000. And I was bragging on Vicki to Gordy or Kelly this week, and she said, "I'll be glad when we get one of those $36,000 commissions." She's a loving wife to her husband Pat. They've known each other since they were in grade school, which I think that's just cool. They have 3 married children, 4 grandchildren. Her husband and her, they live in Northwest Colorado, where they spent 13 years managing 2 guest ranches with their children. And now they live on a ranch with their oldest son and his family, and they raise Mustangs and goats, and they've got 23 chickens. And she says she feels blessed to be part of this team and creating a better retirement for her and her husband, and creating a legacy for her children and her grandchildren. And let me stop sharing so we can hear Vicki's story. Y'all are going to love this. She's just proof of what happens when you get on the right track, you stay on the right track, and you continue to move forward. She could probably tell you about some whirlpool experiences. She's been down this road, guys, and we're going to learn a lot from her. So, Dawn, there you are. Vicki, it's all yours. It's all yours.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Dale. Wow. When I start listening to those words, it just brings all the work into fruition. So I really appreciate that. I don't feel like I can take all the credit. I really feel like our team here, has really made a difference in my business and my life. And you and Dawn also. I mean, the tools that you have supplied and provided for us to give us success in our business is just unbelievable. So I just thank you all. And I thank you all for this privilege to share. My network marketing journey goes clear back to Mary Kay. But I think it was my second network marketing company that I got involved in that really changed my life and really showed me what network marketing was all about. And it was called Country Peddlers. It was from a small company in Alsip, Illinois. And there were 2 sisters that founded it. And they were actually collectibles. It was called Country Peddlers, collectibles that artists from all over the country had created themselves. So I felt like, wow, this is a great way to start. And so I would pack up my little country store, and I had a room divider, and it had slats on it so I could put shelves on them. And then I would display all those country collectibles on the shelves. And it was wonderful. I loved it. It was a country store, and I had hostesses, and they would book parties, and I would just talk about these little collectibles. So that was pretty exciting. But it wasn't until I went to my first conference through Country Peddlers, and I sat there, and they explained the compensation plan, and talked about residual passive income by recruiting a team. And I had never heard that before. I always thought, okay, Mary Kay, you sell products, I make a little bit of money, and there you go. But this just blew me away. And I thought, wow, this is really going to take me far. So I actually built that business up in a couple of years from 1 hostess to over 200, and was very busy making some good money. But every year we had to change the collectibles. And once again, you're, investing hundreds of dollars into a business. So that was tough for me. But then we moved to Colorado. And when I got here, I discovered that the Colorado decor was a little bit different. And it wasn't quite the country craft decor that I had back in Pennsylvania. So that was hard for me. Plus, then I didn't really know anyone. So that business went to a halt. So I started searching for a company. And I've actually had about 9 or 10. I was trying to count them today. Just a company that could change my family's financial future. So I went from Herbalife, I forgot to tell you about Herbalife, to Xango, to HempWorks. But I have to say, I just was really frustrated because no matter what upline you were with, they had a different system. It just, you couldn't have a duplicatable system. Everybody did their own thing. So I got really frustrated with that. And like you said, Dale, a confused mind does nothing. So I was confused. I thought, where's the system? What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? And so I started just paying for courses. I went anywhere from Brian Tracy to Sonia Stringer to Big Al, and I would just pour myself into learning. And those courses cost a lot of money. But what I was finding was, all the money that I was investing, it always exceeded my income. I couldn't quite make an income with this. And my husband, of course, being a financial planner, he wasn't on board with that at all. He's like, Vicki, you're spending all this money, but you're not making any money. When are you going to start making money? So, but he let me go. He supported me somewhat, just a little bit, and realized that I had a passion for it and I really believed in it. But I was still searching. And I came across a guy named Chuck Holmes. I don't know if you remember him. Network marketing professional, top earner. And he was a top fan of you. And I have to read what I read back in 2013. This was for your Dale Calvert 7 MLM lessons from the legend himself. I don't know if you remember this.
Never seen.
I'm a big fan of Dale Calvert. I've been reading his website and watching his videos for almost 10 years now. I really like his laid-back approach and honesty about the network marketing industry. He doesn't try to hype things up, and he doesn't fluff things up either. He calls a spade, and he tells you the truth. I call him a straight shooter and think he is one of the best trainers in the industry. And that's when I started getting involved with your podcast and listening to you and paying for some of your CDs and DVDs, things like that. So it was after that then that I joined Acervia with you. And Acervia I loved supplying, the business owners with that little device. We had that device and until Google nearby shut us down. But I had some politicians that were using that device. And I thought, wow, this is great. But I really loved working with business owners. And I think that's when I got my passion for business owners. Really, that just blew me away. I loved that. So, of course, then Google shut us down. Then I went to APL Go, and I was introduced to your duplicatable system for the first time. The fact that you had a system that I could use for any network marketing company was just amazing to me. And I just love that. I felt like, okay, no more searching, no more foo-foo dust here, no more lack of support, and a system in place to work with. So we, kind of went with APL Go, but then I got a little weary of health and wellness. So when you joined the Helium Hotspots with IHub, that's when I really got on board. And I think that's when I learned massive action. It's a numbers game, getting into a rhythm and getting out of that whirlpool. I loved your analogy of comparing our business to a stadium event. That really changed my life. You're either tailgating in the parking lot, you're either in the stands cheering everyone else, or you're in the dugout waiting to get on the field, or you're playing the game. And I realized then that I was sitting in the stands. So I decided it was time to start playing the game and get out of the dugout or out of the stands, wherever anyone else. I hope that helps somebody. But then we moved to Loop. And then again, I had my passion to business owners. That's when I really learned Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, and really getting out of the whirlpool. I had to drive to a town that had a lot of casinos. I had my Mike Culver form, and I was ready to go into those casinos And I was sitting in my car and I couldn't move. I was just overwhelmed with fear, worried about what the business owner was going to say, what he was going to think of me and all of that. So I just had to sit there. And then I just went to Mel Robbins, and she 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So I got out of the car, I got into the casinos, and I think I hit like 9 that day. So that was pretty cool. And then of course we went to ERC. And I just really feel like everything that I've learned through all of this has prepared me for ERC.
That's right.
As it just really did prepare me for that. And I was ready to do the massive numbers. I was out of the whirlpool. I was ready to just concentrate and focus on my business. And so, I'm just, here I am doing the activities, sending out emails to private schools. I started with them, and then just dealing with the objections and having to be able to respond to those objections. I pulled together some objections from you, from our team, and also from corporate, and I put that together to be able to copy and paste back and forth with business owners and nonprofits. So it's really, here I am today, and it just blows me away. When I saw that first commission in there, I thought, oh my gosh, this can't be real. Can't be real. But it is. It is. So
That's awesome. The objection file, I think we've already uploaded 2 of the files in the Facebook page, but you've got it all laid out. So if you get an objection, you go and look and copy and paste and send it. You're very well organized. And one thing that I've noticed, especially with the ERC, but you follow up.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy around follow up?
Well, I wait, I send that email, I wait for the response, and then I'll send the information about ERC, and then I'll wait for another response. Some don't respond, some do. I've seen that, 75% of the ones that I speak to have already filed. So I just look for that response, and then I copy and paste when I need to out of the responses sheet and go from there. So it's just, I have to have the last word. Even when they say, and I keep sending emails until they say, stop, unsubscribe, don't send me another email. And then I still have the last word. I'll send that last email to say, well, if you don't accept these funds, another business owner will be glad to take it. Would you like to have bottom line, the number 1 company in the country take care of your recovery? And then I'll say at the end, in the meantime, I'll remove you from the list. So from my list. So I always have the last word.
Yeah, and I love that we should always have the last word, because when you find somebody that has not filed, that's a piece of gold that will be mine.
Right.
It will
right.
be. So in this case, this is a good example. Now, what if Vicki said, okay, this lead goes to my tag team partner, and and Tony Schuper, whoever, starts the whole process all over with them. And y'all are trading these leads back and forth, because they're going to write the business with somebody.
Right.
They are. So it should be one of us. So again, I didn't mean to take this off track, but this is another good example of what I'm feeling like something that we have to do as a team. And we'll be talking about more about it. But yeah, I know you're relentless at follow up. How's your husband feel about all this at this point?
The day I saw that in my commissions, I called him in, and his eyes were bugging out of his head. And he said, yeah, but are you sure? But I think when I showed him the second one, and I just told him, I said, this is real. And I talked with you about it too. I said,
yes.
Could this be because, first of all, they didn't get PPP. Second of all, it's based on a lot of the income from the W-2s. And this was an education forum. It was, they create online learning. So, I mean, he's starting to believe now. He's getting better with that. So, yeah.
I know he's always been a supporter. Always. He's never been negative.
No,
From my
no.
perspective, yeah.
No, he's just always trying to be practical.
Yeah. We all need somebody like that.
Yeah. And you did say, drip on them until they drown. I'm drowning them.
Yeah, that's right.
We all should be drowning them. And until they say stop, don't email me anymore, I'm done, then I'll stop, because my personality isn't like that. So, but in this, I feel like I have the benefit of the doubt and can just keep going. But, Apollo really opened up a lot of business for me. I don't know if everyone's on Apollo, but, or using Apollo, but 80%, 85% of my referrals came from Apollo.
Wow. That's awesome.
I mean, I had one business owner in town. I did call my loop player business owners, and someone had come through the beginning of October and presented ERC to all of them. So I kind of lost out on that, but hey, I just keep going. But this business owner we met in a Verizon store, and he had a construction jacket on, and he was kind of answering some of our questions in the Verizon store. And I said, "Is this your company?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Have you guys filed for ERC yet?" And he said, "No." He said, "My secretary told us we didn't qualify. My secretary told me we didn't qualify." And I said, "Did you get PPP?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "You are qualified. How many W-2s do you have?" So we had a conversation, and he's getting close to 170 grand from what I can see, I think. So for his business, which he didn't think he qualified for. So we can't stop. We just have to keep finding those. And remember, 3 months ago, you told us we would have to double the numbers to be able to make up for this. And I'm seeing that now. It's time to double the numbers because most of these business owners have filed. So we've got to find the stragglers out there. And we've got to find the ones that have been told they don't qualify, because we have answers for them. We have a call for them to get on to speak with the experts. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Numbers. Okay, if you got questions for Vicki, you can raise your hand, and we'll listen. We'll get to that. I mean, when you look at the possibility right now of what you have, you're looking at about $400,000 in commissions potentially. It's going to be more than that by the end of the year, even if half of these fall off, because you're going to have a great year.
I plan on it.
I mean, compare it to anything else that you've ever done. Because I get up every day and I'm pinching myself, and I know a lot of you guys are too, but I'm pinching myself because I remember Vicki Karshner 2018. You're a different person. Do you feel like you are?
I do. I was raised, my dad was a pastor, but my mother was very negative. I think I mentioned that once before. I grew up in a very negative, critical household, even though there was a lot of love there. It was always what you did wrong and not what you did right. So I was stuck in that. The negative thought patterns. And the book club really helped me with that. I just stayed out of it for a while. And then you were talking, I think in one of our Zooms about getting in with the book club, participating in it. And all those books really changed my perception of things, my negativity, and my thought patterns. So yes.
It gives you much more awareness of the oh, I am a 12-year-old. I was programmed like this by the time I was 12. You know, I mean, it really does. It gives you that wow.
Yeah.
And, oh, now I can determine what my programming is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an awakening moment. Okay, getting a lot of hands. Dave Johnston.
Hi, Miss Vicki. Congratulations.
Thank you, David.
Sincerely. And just as a side note, Dale, I'm going to go on oh, okay, never mind. Anyway, my question is follow-up. You really seem to be very keyed in on the follow-up, and I want to kind of drill down on that a little bit, because most of my follow-up is through phone calls and emails, type of things. But do you have a pattern that you use for them? Like drip on them till you drown. Is there a pattern? You start here and you end over here. Is that something? And then I have one quick question after that.
Yeah, I mean, I send the basic Shelley script, and then whoever responds to that, I have another email that I send with ERC information in it, with my link and a video. And if they don't respond to that, then my next one in line is, did you have a chance to read over the information? What questions can I answer for you? How can I help you? If they don't answer me, then I send the next one. If you don't accept these funds, recover this grant funding for yourself, another business will gladly accept it. I don't put, I'm going to remove you from my list at that point until they actually say, remove me from your list. So I just keep going. I keep sending, all of mine are in my Google emails. So, one day I'll answer, send the first one, and then I'll just look through my threads and look through the email threads, and I take each one at a time and then just decide which email to send.
Okay, this has to do with the next phase of follow-up, and that is when you have an actual person that's signed an agreement and they continually are stuck and you can't really get them to move along. Is there a method that you use for follow-up on that?
I just go back in the back office, David, and just do the tasks that they suggest. I keep up with those. I did add, after they book a call, I have added what Dale had suggested before we started, I tell them how excited I am that they have this call. In fact, I send one out. I had one for tomorrow. And this is how much money you could possibly get. So I want to plant that seed. And then I just, here's a great video. It's only 9 minutes. Just take a look at this. And I send Dale's warning video during that. That's after the call. I have added that. But the tasks that I do in the back office, sometimes I will call them. If I don't hear back from them, I will get on the phone and call. So
well, I'm dealing with people that have signed the contract and are not sending over the paperwork. And they, I don't want to go at them and say, well, you've signed this contract. If you go with someone else, now you're obligated to bottom line. I don't want to throw that at them, because that will make the deal go south for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel I don't want to bug people, but I do give them a little bit of time. One lady, I got back to her after a month and a half, and she said, it's not me. I'm trying to gather the documents. The company won't give them to me. So I try to find out where they are, if they're gathering docs and they haven't moved, where they are, and ask them if I can offer any help. So they sometimes can be stuck there as well.
Good stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Gordy and Kelly.
Hey, do you find out? Congrats, by the way, especially on that big old fat first deal. That'll fire you up.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We're jealous, anyways. Do you find that when you, like I noticed you said when you're talking to the guy at the store, did you get the PPP? And then how many W-2s did you have? Do you do a quick calculation? Because what I try and do is do a quick calculation. If he has 10 and they got the PPP, I'm like, man, you're sitting on about 8. I just 10 times 10's 100 and knock off 20, 30%. I mean, you're sitting on 70 to 80 grand. Do you find out that when you ask them, how many W-2s do you have, that from then the conversation just flows?
It does. It does. And I can't even remember what all I said to him, but I just told him about Bottom Line. And I told him about some other companies that didn't think they could qualify, and they do. So we had a quick conversation. He took my information, and then I followed up with a pretty lengthy email. He ended up booking the call himself. But he said, I want to take this to my secretary. And I thought, oh, great. But he took it to his secretary, and then he did call me. And then I saw the next day he had actually booked the call. So I just stayed in touch with him. But yeah, just trying to keep that total in their minds of what they're giving up or what they're going to make.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what we find when you can get to the point, like if they haven't filed, if you can get to the point where you say how many W-2s you have and get that going, then at this point, because you're so knowledgeable, I never even have to think about what's coming next, because we've had many conversations. But that seems to be, to me, the magical question, because at that point, you're not a salesperson. At that point, you're in discovery mode and everything just happens. So good work.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Dave Trilogy.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Vicki. When I first got back into this and I was, doing my homework, I called her and she was gracious enough to take the call and provided some very valuable feedback on what I was doing. And I just like she is a perfect example of value focus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why we're here, is to help people, and she's a perfect example for that. And just like you've told us, Dale, year after year, you can say anything to anybody as long as you do it out of your heart for them. And Vicki, I just thank you for all you've done, and you're doing tremendous.
Thank you, David. Thank you. I enjoyed speaking with you. That was fun.
Marilyn Cox.
Oh, okay, Vicki. Yeah, awesome job. But I just want to ask you, do you follow up even if you haven't heard from them initially, or you just follow up when you get a response? I mean, I may have missed what you said in the beginning.
Oh, I do follow up when I get a response. Only when I get a response.
Okay.
I was starting to send emails out to the first Shelley script when they didn't respond. And I ended up getting my Google or my Gmail shut down because I was sending out too many. So you just have to be careful. I did get it back and I lost it again. So I know Philip said that they have really restricted how many emails you can get out at a certain time. So just if they respond, I send another email and another email. I have a really large client back in my back office that is just sitting there. Josh did the call. It's 750 W-2s. It's a hospital. And she never signed the agreement. She said she was taking it to all of her departments or whatever. Josh kept, texting me saying, help. And I just sent her your warning video yesterday. She's not done. I'm not going to let her go yet until she's actually filed. And then I feel like it's too late, but.
Okay. I have another question.
Sure.
Is it every day that you follow up?
I do.
Every day. Okay.
Yeah, every day.
And then do you find that sometimes when you're following up, you don't have time to send out leads?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes,
I'm stuck there.
Yeah. I Marilyn, sometimes I have to set my timer to get out of the follow-ups, unless it's something that has to be done that day, because you could spend all day following up and not creating more leads. So yeah, time management, you've got to find that chunk of time and then move to the leads and then move to Apollo and then move to emails to schools. So yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. You can spend a lot of time.
Thank you. That really helps. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Follow-up is more important than the initial contact.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, I should spend the whole day?
You could.
But get quicker at it.
Depends how many
Okay.
responses.
Yeah, I think too much of my response. I maybe need
I mean, you can sift out the important ones, Marilyn. Those that have gotten back to you and said, what is ERC, or I don't qualify, I don't let those go. Those, I'm on them right away. I don't qualify. I've been told I don't qualify. If they're just hanging out there and reading my emails, then they're kind of put down on the bottom. But the important ones, I think you sift out and you'll know.
Yeah, for sure. Alan Knight, then Gladys.
Hey, so I think a lot of things here. I think we may have had the same parents. Actually,
we have said that before. We've talked about that before.
I think that we were raised by the same people.
Yeah, we were.
Somehow at different states, but anyway.
Right.
And I just really respect you. I mean, I really do. You're an amazing encourager.
Thank you.
And you make me be bold. Just because I know that you're gonna champion the best in me also. And so I really respect that. And I know you're just solid. Anytime I've interacted with you, that it's just coming from a really, really solid place. And so, yeah, I'm so excited for what's going on with you.
Thank you.
It's not a mystery or a surprise at all. Because I mean, actually it's overdue by a bit, which is, it's perfect time. It's God's timing, but still, I mean, it's like you're consistently doing it. And I've watched you kind of that struggle in the bleachers a little bit, over time, into where you kept trying to get your footing and you got it, and you're out of the whirlpool. And so, and I love that. Sometimes I get sucked back into it still.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I love that, just pushing through and being consistent. So, just respect you a bunch. I'm so excited. Can't wait to, have our spouses share stories on the cruise. It's going to be so fun.
Yes.
And get to know our families, a little bit better also as time goes on.
We have a lot in common. We've grown up in the same type of household, like you said, and I'm happy to see you breaking out with the ERC, Alan. That's amazing.
Yeah, you just have to figure out what's going to work for you.
That's right.
Inside of the structure that we have, you have to figure out what's going to work for you, because everybody's not the same. And we do all have a little bit different situation going on. And so, Vicki, you're, in Colorado, you're trapped in your house, like, tunnels of snow and all of that. You're probably not pulling doors. And
I'm looking
here,
forward to that. Yeah. Looking forward
here,
to
pulling
spring.
doors is like everywhere. So
it's tough to pull doors here for sure. Today it was negative.
Yeah, then you got to shovel the snow out from front of them before you can pull them.
I'm taking that time to really work in my office, and so that's a blessing. Actually, I look at it as a blessing, but we're done with the snow.
There was so many nuggets in that. I hope you picked them up. I hope you got them. I hope you understand basically what the whirlpool is all about, that you kind of get that, what the whirlpool really is, and how we all have to deal with the whirlpool, that we all are who we are based upon what was programmed into our mind by the time we're 12 years old, and then we just reinforce that throughout our whole life. I'm so thankful to have Vicki on our team, because she's setting an example for many of you that will be watching this, because a lot of you have traveled the road that she's traveled up to this point, but now she has broken out. She's in a rhythm, and she's achieving the success that she deserves and that she's always wanted. But there's reasons that happens. Einstein said ignorance at its highest level is to continue to do what you've always done the way you've always done it, expecting different results. That's what Einstein said, not Dale Calvert, Einstein. And there's so many people that have traveled this entrepreneurial journey for years, but they never got involved with the right culture, the right opportunity at the right time with the right team culture that focuses as much about the mindset aspect of this business as the vehicle that you're using to achieve success. The vehicle is important, but if you don't have the right mindset surrounding that, she talked about Mel Robbins, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We drilled that concept with our team, drilled it because it's critically important. It's a powerful, powerful concept. And when you start getting these concepts from your head to your heart and you start implementing them, great things will happen. Great things will happen. So again, so proud of Vicki and so many of our team members. And, you can go back and you can listen to the stories of our team members, and you know that they're sincerely achieving the success that they're talking about. It's not just fake it till you make it. That they're doing great things. I'm just going to end it with a letter or an email that I received from Vicki. I know she won't mind this. But this just kind of speaks to the type of person she is and the type of people that we attract to this team, because there ain't no foo-foo dust. There's no fluff. There's reasons people succeed. There's reasons people fail. And if you plug into the right mindset training and you learn the proper skill sets and you focus, as Vicki said, I decided to focus because I'm tired of sitting in the stands. Great things are ahead of you. Great things are ahead of you. But anyway, I appreciate her so much. And this is just an email she sent after this. She said, I'm sorry, this is a week late, but I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story with my team. The interview gave me a shot in the arm and a boost to my morale and confidence. And see, she'd already had that prior, but I'm glad it helped. You rewarding our efforts and success in these interviews really help us solidify our drive and purpose in working ERC. I sent my interview, I love this part, I sent my interview to my family to listen to, and they are so proud of me and my success with this. I love that. They have been a little hesitant as I've been involved with so many MLM companies, but now they're cheering me on. How many people's family does that describe? And now to see Vicki at this point, it's just so exciting for me, and I know it is her. This opportunity has given me a chance to not only break out, but the joy of seeing these biz owners and CEOs get back what they deserve for all their hard work and losses. It's beyond gratifying. That's right. That's right. We're providing value, real value to people that deserve it. Your long-term income potential is in direct proportion to the value you provide to the market that you serve. That's the way it works. And, you get all these MLM companies out there today. They're just laundering money among friends. I mean, really, that's what's going on. They just get a token product. Let's bring this nutritional product in, and let's do a one forced downline. Let's just hype everything up, and it's like there's no reality. It's all fluff. Where's it going to be in 2 years? It's going to be over. It's going to be gone. It's a money grab. Not here. Not what we're doing. Not what we'll ever do. We'll never do that. We'll never do that. I will never do that. Anyway, let me get back. She said, I just wanted to let you know how appreciative I am for all you've done for me and this team. You know how to lead, guide, and drive us on. And I'm so grateful to know you and follow you. I thank the Lord for bringing you into my life, Dale, and I give God all the glory and praise for this gift He's given us all right now. Thank you again. And I can't wait to meet you in person someday. See, we've never even met. Wow. God bless you and Dawn for all you do. Vicki. So that kind of says it all, guys. I hope you got got from this what was available for you to get. I hope you take the time. If you have to, go back and listen again. There's a lot of go nuggets in this interview, and she has traveled the path that everybody must travel if you want to achieve your full upside potential. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here.
Did you enjoy this story? Then you will probably enjoy some of the other sessions of this podcast. You can visit MLMsuccess.com and see a full playlist of the podcast since the day we started. Would you like to put some faces with the voices? Then search for Dale Calvert MLM Success Podcast on YouTube and follow us there. Please leave a comment on YouTube and let our special guests know how their story inspired you or affected you. Dale spends most of his social media time in private groups he has founded, but you can follow his public Facebook page at facebook.com/Dale Calvert page. And of course, your comments and feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you access this podcast is always appreciated. Thanks for listening, and we will be back next week and share with you another real success story that is happening right now in this new era of wealth creation that most still don't know exist. Yet.